All right, Mr. Jake Brower, it seems like you were just here because you were just here. I have to tell you, man, you have got the best nurses.
I 100% agree with that statement.
Every time I ask for volunteers, Jake is always the first one to raise his hand. And when I found out today that one of his nurses was driving through or coming to Omaha to visit, I sprung it on him very early this morning. Hey, we're going to do this, and then they
Actually, you sprung it on me like 10 minutes ago.
Okay, you're right.
Not
Okay, you're right. But they both agreed. And it kind of worked out. So
that's perfect.
Jake, tell me about how you met Maddie and kind of where it's gone from there.
Yeah, so I think another nurse that I've been talking to commented something about me on Facebook, and Maddie saw it and was, I guess, in the market for a recruiter from Atlas, and she messaged me on Facebook, and we connected, and
the rest is history.
The rest is history. It's been a lot of fun.
Worked out?
Yeah, it
Awesome.
did. It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
Well, I love this new format. I love having you both here at the same time. It'll be a very fun interview. So, Maddie Graham, welcome to the Atlas Live. All right, Maddie, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. You don't look excited to be here.
I am.
Okay, good.
She's still a little bit in shock, right?
As much as we did just bring this on Jake, she walked in the door and I said, hey, guess what? We're going to do this.
Good sport.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
So tell me, Jake kind of alluded to where you guys met or how you got hooked up with him for the first time. Like, what was happening on your end when you found him on Facebook?
I was an assignment that I wasn't that happy at, and I just saw on one of the Facebook pages, people were talking about Atlas, and there were like 5 different people who were like, Jake Brower's the best, he's the best recruiter ever. And so I messaged him and I was like, I think I was just like, hey Jake, I'm a NICU nurse, do you have any jobs? And he was like, I've got all kinds of jobs.
And we did.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 weeks later.
I don't even think
you
it
were
was
like
a full
placed.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I knew where I was going next.
Really?
Yeah.
So that first contract was where?
That I was
With Jake. Yeah, with Jake.
in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Awesome. And that didn't, well, we'll get into that. That didn't quite go great.
The way any of us planned, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And not for bad reasons, necessarily, right?
Depends how you look at it.
It depends how you look at it. But let's start from the beginning. Why did you start traveling in the first place?
I joke and say that it was because my lease was up. But I just remember in nursing school, like the first day we went around the room and everybody's like, what kind of nurse are you going to be? And everybody was like, I'm going to be a travel nurse. And I was like, I'm going to be a NICU nurse. And everybody was like all excited about travel nursing. So I went home and I Googled like, what is a travel nurse? That sounds good. And the stars just aligned and everything worked out. My lease was up and I was like, I think I'm going to give it a go.
Sure.
So here I am.
And so then your very first contract as a travel nurse was where?
At Duke in North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
But
And
she was in Houston.
When I met Jake,
When we met.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So then you were in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You were there on that contract for like 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Tell me what happened there.
So after my third shift on my second week there, my first week alone, I had met some other travel nurses and they were like, do you want to go skiing? And I was like, well, it's on my bucket list, so I better...
You'd never been skiing
I'd
before?
never been skiing in my life.
I did not know this. This is new information.
This makes the story even better.
This is the kind of thing I think nurses should run by their recruiter first.
And so...
Just
This is even more that you probably didn't know.
awesome.
So that morning, they're like, okay, well, meet us at our house at 9 o'clock. We need to be in the mountains at a certain time. We have some more, we have to have lessons.
Yeah.
So I drove all over town for about an hour and a half looking for snow pants. And I couldn't find them. I should have stopped the skiing plan then.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we have to leave, we're going 2.5 hours away, so just meet us there. And I'm like, okay, so I find some $10 Walmart snow pants, like last ditch effort.
Yeah.
And I get up there and our skiing lesson is delayed, so I was there for nothing. So we're sitting around and we're getting to know each other. I mean, they're strangers as of 2 days ago. And I went skiing, and at the very end of the skiing lesson, I broke my leg and tore my ACL. And so I had no phone service. I used a friend's phone, and Jake was the first person I called to let him know that I was probably not going to be going back to work.
It's better than the only call that you get from prison. At least you weren't like,
Yeah.
hey, Jake, I'm in prison.
It's kind of bad though too. Still, like, what was going through your head when you got that call?
My heart just sank for her. I mean, mostly because, you texted me the whole way out there, like, this is the most beautiful place ever. Yeah. I can't wait to have this assignment. Loved the hospital as soon as you got there. Yep. The managers loved you. And so it was just, like, mostly I was just bummed, like, what's going to happen. And it made me realize, too, like, the risk that every travel nurse takes. It's like, it's not just a vacation, Mm-hmm. If something happens, there's nothing to fall back on. You canceled assignment, it's over, done. And so she was feeling that, and so I was feeling that with her.
So I don't understand how you're even walking. This just happened.
Yeah.
This just happened. Like, and you're walking just fine.
Yeah, so February 1st was the day I was skiing. And because I had the fracture, I had to wait until February 28th to have surgery. And so here I am.
Did they, a plate? Did they put it, or then?
No, the fracture was non-displaced.
Okay.
So it was like exactly aligned.
Sure.
So the ski resort rigged me up with some carpet padding and a cardboard box. And these new travel nurse friends loaded me into the back seat.
Oh, too funny.
And we drove 2.5 hours down the mountain to the University of Utah Hospital. And then I spent a long time in the ER. And, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But the story has a happy ending. You're getting back on the road. Like, you're leaving in a couple days.
Yep.
Where are you going?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Awesome.
I think that in Norfolk, Virginia, they don't say the L, so you're going to have to learn that. I think it's just Norfolk.
Is it Norfolk? Is that?
Well, what I know is they have a lot of Southern accent going on there.
True.
Makes sense.
So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm so glad that it ended well, because that could have, you've just gone home and just said, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah.
You gave it a shot and it didn't work out, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think the day before you got offered this job, she texted me, she's like, Jake, I think I just need to find a permanent job.
The night before, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I start applying for a permanent staff position? Like, I'm scared. What am I going to do? And Jake said, he was like, it's fine, Maddie. I'll get you a job. Just relax. And I was like,
I don't think I was that sarcastic. It probably sounded that way.
But I felt like Jake was just like, I don't know why she's worried. And so then the next day, he's like, so Norfolk is going to call you this afternoon, so be sure and answer your phone. And I was like, wow, all right, Jake.
I can tell you from experience now, having worked beside Jake for how long now? It's
7 months.
Yeah, that's just his demeanor all the time. Like, everything's going to be fine. Which
I'm usually, I feel pretty like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh,
yeah,
getting pretty close.
Yeah.
So now that you've gotten into this, you've had that experience there in Salt Lake. Tell me, like, what's the best part of all this so far? What's the worst part? Besides breaking your leg, obviously, and tearing your ACL, like.
It's kind of one and the same. It's just like going with the flow. The more you go with the flow, the more fun you have, the more crazy things you do. Like, when I called my mom and was like, I broke my leg skiing, she was like, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, no, I'm not joking. And she's like, you were skiing? It's just not something that So the more that I just learned to go with the flow, the easier and the funner and just the more life experiences I have. But at the same time, learning to go with the flows. Yeah. A little bit rough.
Trust me, I love my routine. It can be very rigid sometimes, so I totally get that. Like, that's, yeah, I absolutely understand. But when you can break out of that comfort zone a little bit, like going skiing for the first time and discovering some of that stuff, like that's when you really live.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a giant part of travel nursing. That's a big part of why we do the things we do on our end, so then you can go and enjoy those things on your end.
But I've already told her no more skiing.
No more skiing. Can you ski?
I know, I was like, I could probably surf in Virginia Beach.
That's true.
I don't know what that phone call would sound like.
That.
What's the shark population like?
Let's try to set that up. That could be your first. That could be your Atlas adventure. We're gonna send you surfing.
She didn't make it 30 days, so she doesn't even know about that.
Just wait. You can't hurt yourself on this, but Jake's got a surprise for you when that comes up.
right.
So
Right.
once it gets to that point. So, and I guess this is tough because I guess you were out there before. Jake and I both love food. Tell me some of the best places you found to eat through all of these adventures so far.
Oh,
That's a good question.
there's like so many. I try to not go to the same. When I first got to North Carolina, I would go to the same places all the time, and I was like, this is dumb. I need to just go to all new places. But there was this Mexican restaurant it's Tex-Mex in Texas.
Okay.
And
Nothing
it's
wrong with
called
that.
Papacitos. And everybody that came to visit me in Houston, I was like, so we're going to this Mexican place. And they're like, Mexican, like everybody's just like, everybody loves it, but they're like, come on, there's nothing better.
Right.
And even to this day, my dad will be like, remember that place you took us in Houston? And I'm like, yeah,
Have to take a
I
trip to
do.
Houston.
You need to go there.
Yeah, it's a good one.
If you're still talking about it this far out, then it must be good.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there wasn't much about Houston that she seemed to like, so
I mostly didn't like
that.
Houston.
No offense to our Houston friends,
Sorry, Heather.
but yeah, exactly. But maybe Heather's been there. We should ask her.
Ooh, I bet she has. We have a recruiter that works out of
Yes.
Houston.
Oh, I'm sure she's
Who was a
there.
PICU nurse at one time,
Okay.
and then became a recruit. Well, at one time, she's still a PICU nurse. So, but yeah,
Once a nurse, always a nurse.
exactly. Yeah, we'll have to find out. Heather, you'll have to tell us. What was it called?
Papacitos.
Papacitos. But we should go.
She should go.
We should go. I think we should go. What are you
I'm
talking
in.
about?
I'm in.
Okay. All right. So then, last question. Through all of this, what has been the one thing that's taken you the longest to learn?
Probably still the go with the flow thing. It's super hard when you get there to you just have to befriend everybody, and from day one, somebody asks you want to go to dinner, and you're like, really? I just worked 12 hours. I want to go home. But you have to go. You have to say okay, because if you don't, you might not get the opportunity, and somebody who you think might not be your friend might end up being your best friend and showing you the best time. So I've been surprised several times by people who were unlikely.
Yeah. I think that's anywhere, right? I think there's a lot of characters, especially here in our office, that wouldn't normally hang out together probably, but then, man, you have the best time with them. So, yeah. Well, Maddie, thank you so much for being with us today. Again, I really appreciate it. Sorry for springing it on you just at the last minute. So.
Hey, she's learning to go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
That's like the theme. So
It wraps up like that so well. So, Jake, thank you again for
Absolutely.
bringing Maddie to us. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to hear about how it goes in Virginia and the Atlas adventure that's coming. So.
we're holding our breath for more than 2 weeks.
It better be.
All right. Thank you both
All
so
right.
much. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.